Hey guys, Natural Progressive. Um, so a little bit of Utah state news. So Governor Herbert just gave the State of the State address, and uh, other things going on are so infuriating with this really messed up state. We honestly do have a pretty messed up state. I don't have anything. I've only lived in Utah, so I don't have any states to um, to judge it by or any past experience in other states, but this is really messed up. So, what's going on is the state of Utah had a giant surplus for 2018 in their taxes, just enormous. And in the meantime, state legislature is trying to overturn yet again another citizen initiative. This one is the expansion of Medicaid. They argue that the taxes will not cover the expense of it, so they don't want it. And so they want to rewrite that bill along with the one they just did with medical marijuana, which was a total disaster. They put the medical marijuana in the hands of the health department, which for one goes against their values of private enterprise and um, less government control of the conservatives that are in office. So that is just blatantly disgusting, and it shows that Utah is really a nanny state and they don't even follow their own conservative values. But as far as the Medicaid expansion, they're saying that the taxes won't cover it, and it will be an issue. But in the meantime, Governor Herbert is saying that we have a huge, giant surplus in the taxes. So the two ideas conflict, and they want to cut our Medicare expansion, Medicaid expansion, um, citing that the tax hike won't cover it. And I think almost any Utahn would just say, well, you have a surplus, just utilize that money for it and get those people insured. But they're not going to do that. So what do we have left? Um, I would say we have stupid fucking government here that are so messed up and don't understand the plight of the average Utahn at all. They don't get it. We can't make them get it. They What happens is they get those surpluses, and instead of giving it back to the people in forms that would actually help the people, they try to find ways that their friends and themselves can profit off of it. That's just my opinion. I really don't have not much to back it up, but it doesn't make sense. They're contradictory in their messaging. We really could use the money back in our pockets, but more importantly, we could use that money to help people who can't get insurance because they make too much to qualify for Medicaid, and yet they they can't get insurance through their work, which is growing bigger. They also want to tax Lyft and Uber drivers, which don't make hardly anything at all. There's some people that say that they're actually in the negative by the time they're said and done. So let's try and figure this out. And the best part, he wants to reduce emissions by 5% by 2025. But the way he wants to do that is offer a cash for clunkers program, which will not work at all because, for one, think of the amount of energy it takes to build a new car, and for two, how much energy and pollution it creates when you're smelting down the old cars to get the metal to make the new cars. So there's a double whammy there, and people can't afford it. It's propping up the auto industry. I'll keep saying that. The last one did that, And with the yellow vest in France, they stated the same thing. You made us buy these cars, and all they're doing is making us go broke. And it's not helping the environment. They still don't know what to do with the batteries, how to properly dispose of them, on top of the amount of money it takes to produce them and to melt down and reuse the metal in the old cars. It's a scheme. It's just a scheme. I am totally sorry, but I cannot work it through my brain where that would actually help. Meanwhile, they are selling oil and gas fracking leases all over our state that will pollute way worse than any human could. There's nothing we could do. We could not idle our vehicles. We could get fuel efficient vehicles. We limit our driving, take the bus, take the train. None of that would matter if they're still fracking. Here I go again. I'm going to mention the statistic again. In Vernal, Utah, when they were at the height of their fracking, a small 30,000 people town put out as much emissions as the LA basin or 100 million cars. So you can't tell me that cash for clunkers is going to save our air or anything for that matter. So that's the state of Utah, the state of the state. Thank you, Governor Herbert, and all of our state legislature that thinks they know better than us of what we need and what we want to pay for and what we don't want to pay for. So thank you very much, Utah. All you lawmakers can go straight to hell. We're all headed there anyway because of your bad decisions. So y'all have a good day. Or try to. This world is really sad, and I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go do everything I want to do, and um, really soon I'm going to stop paying all my non-secured debt. We're not going to have food or anything. I'm going to start stocking up on food and water, which will sustain us for maybe, an extra week or two, maybe a month before the extreme weather comes and gets us anyway. Um, yeah, that's the other thing with all the extreme weather. The the burden on our infrastructure is getting too great to handle as well. When you see the polar vortex coming down because of the warming of the waters, that's why it's happening. We're not entering a new ice age. It's just the cold air from the top of the planet is able to escape and push down um, south because there isn't that much a difference in temperature of water that normally holds that up. I'm not a scientist, but that's the way I understand it. It is because of global warming that we have the Arctic freeze in the Midwest and now the East. Uh, just do your own research on that. It's not a mini ice age. It's just, it's just not. And um, keep fighting. We need to at least do something to slow down so our kids and grandkids can have a decent life. It's not looking hopeful. It's not at all, but I'm going to keep fighting. Hopefully you do too. Y'all have as good a day as you possibly can. You don't know if you'll be around tomorrow.